Greg Abbott is the current governor of Texas, an extremely intriguing individual, and he joins us right now on the program after a tweet yesterday and a subsequent press release aimed at Governor Hassan. It said the following: "Hey, NH employers, Governor Hassan may not want your jobs, but Texas does. Just cut business taxes 25%. Governor Abbott, how are you?"
I'm doing great this morning. Thanks for the chance to be with you.
Appreciate joining us for the program. And we'll start off with the motivation. Why go after Governor Hassan on this particular issue?
Well, I'm going after all states across the United States as well as across the world because Texas really does have the best model for doing business. Not only do we have no income tax, no corporate income tax, our business franchise tax was just slashed by 25%. And so if businesses are interested in making money and taking that money and plowing it right back into hiring more employees, Texas is the right place for them.
As I've mentioned before, we do a show here on WKXL with Matt Bonner, Spurs forward and New Hampshire native. So I spent some time down in Texas, usually get down there twice per year to San Antonio, the Austin area. And it is undeniable the amount of energy, development, and excitement in the business climate down in Texas. It is fabulous. That being said, I do truly feel New Hampshire holds a number of advantages over Texas in terms of quality of living, in terms of education, healthcare, access to quality healthcare. When you look at the two states, side by side, what do you say in regards to Texas in terms of education, healthcare, access to quality healthcare, the whole picture? Do you feel that Texas is, and why so, a more quality environment than New Hampshire when you look at it in totality?
Well, if you look at quality of life studies and see how they play into business rankings and whether or not a state is friendly for business, you'll see studies that came out recently showing that Texas ranks near the top. But even more so than that, we just improved it during our last legislative session. During the same session where we cut taxes, we invested more than $4 billion a year in transportation infrastructure. We invested about $4 billion in higher education. Our high school students graduate at a rate that's the third highest rank in the United States of America. And we are doing more to build out our public universities than ever before. And our top-ranked public universities, which include the University of Texas in Austin, the University of Texas A&M, Rice University, et cetera, I think that they have rankings that would be up there with any of the public universities in the entire United States of America. So, and frankly, it's one of the things that attract jobs to the state of Texas. Employers are wanting to get plugged in to our top-notch universities.
One of the things I'm interested in is also what you guys do in regards to in-state tuition for University of Texas and your other state schools. New Hampshire has an issue with retention of young people. It's a focus of Governor Hassan. It's also a focus of Republicans here in the state of New Hampshire. How to keep people in the state. What is Texas doing in regards to in-state tuition? What do you offer people in regards to in-state tuition?
Well, first, clarification. When you say retention in the state, are you meaning keeping students there after they graduate or keeping them in school?
Both. Keeping young people who come to New Hampshire to learn in New Hampshire, to come to our public institutions, and people who grow up in New Hampshire to attend public institutions here in the state of New Hampshire versus going out of state for their secondary education.
Right. Well, first of all, we have so many students who graduate from high school who want to stay in the state of Texas, students coming from out of state, and when they graduate from college, they want to stay here for one simple reason, and that is because the jobs and economic opportunities are here. Graduates will go to where the jobs are. And the jobs are here in the state of Texas. And so that's one thing that attracts students here, keeps them in school. We passed legislation to further try to limit the cost of higher education to make it cheaper for families and students to go to college, to stay in college. And so the level of attraction to college has never been better. The opportunities after they graduate from college has never been better. and that feeds the workforce skills that we need to continue to attract jobs to the state of Texas.
Have you ever traveled to the great state of New Hampshire?
I have been up there.
And so what do you see as the things in Texas in terms of, you mentioned quality of life, but I think a lot of economist Dennis DeLay joins us here on the program each week, and we've had the argument of the business tax environment, where Republicans say the business tax environment is adverse here in the state of New Hampshire, and they have their numbers which show that. And then you have the Democratic side say, oh, yeah, the tax environment here in New Hampshire is great. And they point to numbers from the Tax Foundation or wherever and say, look, the tax environment is great. Numbers are, anecdotal, in my view, and can be moved and shifted about. I think that, as I mentioned before, there is a lot to be said for feel and the human nature, the experiences that are had, which are not necessarily, perform well in data, but the feel of a particular state and an environment. And, what is the feel that you get in regards to Texas and from when you were here in New Hampshire about what makes each place work?
Well, first, you talked about how numbers are anecdotal, and that's a fair statement. What would be kind of proof in the pudding is where people are moving to. We not only just have people who grow up here and stay here, we have people moving to the state of Texas from across the country. And so there's a magnet to the state of Texas, in part because of the low cost of living, because of job quality, because of the living environment. This is a place where people want to come and where people want to stay. And so it's like people vote with their feet. And when they do that, they're voting for Texas. The one thing that I would say about New Hampshire is that you have a great state motto, live free or die. That is an attitude of Americans. That is an attitude of Texas. We think, however, that Texas lives up to that motto better than any other state because we are a state that promotes individual freedom, freedom for businesses, and we fight for it every single day.
So if you're going to pick a football team that's going to have success over the next 10 years, you going with the Patriots or the Cowboys?
Well, it depends on whether or not the football is in play.
That's a good line. Are we doing maple syrup or barbecue sauce? Which is a better topping? The New Hampshire maple syrup or some Texas barbecue sauce? Because you can put maple syrup in barbecue sauce. I don't know if you've tried that before, but maple barbecue is pretty good.
That actually has happened. But I'll tell you this: in Texas, we like to claim that our barbecue is so good we don't need to put sauce on it. That said, one of my favorite things when I was in New Hampshire was the maple syrup. The maple syrup up there is fact.
And one of the things that's been intriguing to me as we transition a little bit here to the New Hampshire primary is obviously your predecessor Rick Perry, and he's not had a lot of success in polling here in New Hampshire. He's been here a lot, and as I've mentioned many times before, if you took the resume of Governor Perry and every other person in this race and did not assign any sort of name to it, took the states out of it, and just put the resume on the table, I think that he would just about everybody would pick his resume. Why do you think that he has not had success in terms of the individuals selecting him when polled?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to the last part of the question. On the first part, I think you are right. If people just looked at a resume of someone who had been a leader of a large organization such as a state the size of Texas, the CEO of it, and with the record of what Texas achieved over the past decade, it's the kind of record that people in America want to see achieved. It's more than just building business. It's doing so in a way that reduces regulations, reduces taxes, empowers individuals. So it's something that does, once again, going back, live up to the motto, live free or die, which I think really is a motto for all Americans. And so I think the resume of Governor Perry accomplishes that goal.
Final thing, the argument that you hear Republicans make a lot is that government's job is to create an environment in which businesses can have success, not overregulate, not to be too involved in actually creating jobs, but creating an environment which will create jobs. Now, that being said, how much credit does Governor Perry get for, the job growth, the incredible job growth that Texas has seen, A, and B, one of the biggest problems, perhaps the biggest problem that New Hampshire has, business taxes aside, a real number is the energy costs here in New Hampshire, and Texas is blessed with a very good location in regards to energy. So two parts, the Governor Perry credit aspect, and B, what role does energy costs play in Texas' success?
You can answer them both by looking at the converse of the way Texas did it. Texas could have driven up the cost of energy, such as what you've seen in some states like California, such as what you're seeing in the state of New York. But instead of going down the pathway of driving up the cost of energy, Texas has worked to lower the cost of energy. New York, as well as some other northeastern states, are blessed with an abundance of natural gas under the ground. Some states are willing to tap into it. Other states are not. The states that are not are going to experience higher energy costs. But Texas taps into our energy. We lower the cost of doing business, and so that attracts the job creators. But most importantly, let's go back to fundamentals in this country that apply whether in New Hampshire or in the state of Texas, and that is the power of the individual and individual innovation. When government gets off the individual's backs, individuals aspire and dream and achieve far more than any government operation ever can or will.
Governor Abbott, I really appreciate you joining us for the program. As I mentioned, followed your race very closely down there in Texas, and appreciate you joining us for the program.
Always a pleasure. You guys take care.
Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, here on Hampshire Now, 109-1450 and ConcordNewsRadio.com.